Hey, good evening. Well, the recent visitor that we had was from Barcelona, and he came and made a point of coming to see Beth and I. I kind of like to talk over what his problems were, the challenges that he was facing since he had come to the Philippines. So to just outline what it is, and I'll be interested to see what your own comments are on this, as if we are offering advice. So the situation for our friend Joseph was that he had, surprisingly, I thought, been communicating with a woman in the Philippines, a Filipina, who had one daughter. To his knowledge, had one daughter. It turned out later that, in fact, she had other boys. So she had several sons, maybe 2 or 3, I think. And this only came to light as time progressed. So he came ostensibly to attend her funeral. It turned out that she had said to him that she was sick, even though over the 12 years that they had been communicating, she had never once asked him for money. She had never ever indicated that she was sick. She had never tried to do what is a common, if there is a scam going on, medical is one of the things. Medical either for themselves or for their children, which is hard for anybody who has been communicating for any length of time to refuse that kind of request. It had never been made. And then she died. And he came out actually to attend the funeral. But when he got here, he decided that he wasn't going to do that. So he feels that he is not responsible, but has a reason to support the child that she had told him about, which was a daughter. And he met the daughter. Now, Joseph considered himself an extremely sensitive man. In fact, I think that he feels that he is super sensitive or hypersensitive, bordering, if not actually, a psychic. So extremely intuitive man, and picking up all the time on signals, body language, and just the vibrations, as we used to say back in the 60s. The vibes. I don't like the vibes. So he had felt that nothing was really as it should be. And that prompted me to make this video, because if you come out here as a foreigner, you may well find that things are not quite as they are seeming to be. And you would probably be right, because the Philippines is another way of living. It's another different kind of life here. And the way that things may seem to a foreigner is frequently quite different to the way that they are. So you had to validate this man, Joseph, had to validate his feelings and perceptions. But in the end, it seemed to me that he had come out here. The father of this child had never been seen in his experience for 12 years. So he wasn't aware of any relationships that the woman had. And irrespective of how he tried to make it seem as if there was no romantic leanings towards this woman, he actually, it was very touching that he actually cried when he was talking about how she had gone. So there obviously was a great emotional attachment, whether you consider it romantic or not. It was a long-distance relationship. So he had formed some attachments there, and some, I guess, at least some knowledge of the girl, the daughter. Well, he didn't know that he wouldn't be able to meet with the daughter, which was one of his plans. He thought, if I could meet with the daughter and talk to her, and I had to tell him, well, he wouldn't actually be able to do that unless somebody else was there. So the daughter was now it was a complicated, I know it's very popular to say it's complicated, but this really was. The woman had conceived the daughter in an affair that she had with a married man. The sister of the married man knew about the relationship and had some kind of friendship with the woman. So the daughter was known to them, and when the woman died, the sister stepped in and was taking care of the girl. Now, because Joseph didn't see any outward signs that he could identify that there was a bond between the woman, the sister, and the child, the daughter, he started to think all kinds of what-if scenarios. But most of them, as far as I was concerned, came down to trust. So he wasn't a rich man. He is not a rich man. And he has decided that he wants to help support the child. Child is about 14 years old, so hardly a child. But anyway, he wants to try to help. But his problem was he wasn't sure where the money would go to. Now, we tried to tell him what it was that we gave as an allowance to our students. And I got the impression that that was probably what he was thinking of contributing for this school. We, as we've made known, in our charity, the 70 students, or almost 70 of the students that we have, receive 2,000 pesos a month, and then they receive other help with other things, like boarding houses and food. But the price, the cost that I mentioned to him was 2,000 or 3,000. Now, he never quite gave any indication as to whether that was roughly what he was thinking, but it seemed to make some sense to him. So his problem, summing up his problem for you, is he is willing to support the girl if he can be sure that the sister of really what amounts to the girl's father is now taking care of the girl. What will she do? Will she receive the money? And if she receives the money, will the child get it? Well, I tried to explain to him how it works here, that in fact, if the woman has come forward and is actually taking care of the child right now and has been completely open about everything else, why would she start cheating and lying to get her hands on a few thousand pesos? So my advice to him was that he should learn some trust. And I gave him a few examples of the kind of extreme trust that I've encountered myself with Filipinas. I know there are lots of horror stories out there, and that's where we come to the background story of Joseph. His family didn't want him to come, and they have given him the impression that he's going to get ripped off, he's going to get scammed, so he's afraid. So it's a question of trust. But in effect, if he does send the money to the woman, even if he sent it to the girl direct, once he learned her name and she had the ID to be able to go, say, to Remitly, Cebuana, Amel, Julia, that would be the only way that she would know that the girl had received the money, but it wouldn't be any indication as to whether the girl was keeping the money, because if she is staying with a family and she received 300 pesos, no doubt she would give at least a portion of that to the family and take only what she needed to be able to attend school, which may be minimal. I tried to get this over to him. He left without giving any real indication as to whether he'd be able to do that. So it would be interesting to hear what you think he should do. Should he trust this woman who is now taking care of the girl, the daughter? And as many people said, he has no responsibility to that woman and to that daughter because it's not his daughter. But on a humanitarian basis, he wants to help. So why shouldn't he find a way to help? And that's what he's really looking for. So, your suggestions, please. And I look forward to hearing from you.